All right, so we're going to cover my 8 favorite exercises for shoulder impingement. You're going to need 2 things. You're going to need a foam roller and then something that just doesn't stretch. So it can be this, it can be a belt, it can be a yoga strap, it can be a jacket, it can be anything. This is Sarah. She's going to help us out with this today. Now this is a follow-along series. I would like you guys to come back to it on a daily basis. Here at Performance Place, we suggest people do this for about a month period of time. We're going to supply a countdown timer in the corner. That way you don't have to put on a clock or think about anything. You just watch this video and follow right along. We're going to start with shoulder extensions, and go ahead and turn around for me on this one. We're going to spend about a minute doing this. Hand behind your back. Good. And take your other hand, grab right here. I want you to pull across your body. Okay? So she's going to try just a couple reps of this just to feel things out a little bit, okay? This is actually probably the starting point for a lot of people. It usually after about 10 reps, it starts to milk itself out. It feels like it generally goes away. And at that point, you can progress the exercise to something like this. Go ahead and grab that there, and grab that there, and go ahead and try to pull your hand up your back using the rope. Good, as high as you can. And so she's going to do this as long as she's touch and go on any stiffness on the front of the shoulder. That should be okay. But if it starts to increase her problem, this is not what you want to do. Okay? As I mentioned before, this is particular for a certain type of problem like shoulder impingement. It wouldn't be for other things like biceps tendonitis and so on. Now the next thing we're going to do is we're going to go to a foam roller. Go ahead and throw that strap away. We're all done with it today. And we're going to use this, and go ahead and lie on your back for me. So she's going to use this to foam roll her upper back, but there's a particular way to do it that we like to do it here. Go ahead and reach behind and go again. All right. Now she's going to act like there's actually paint brushes on her elbows, and I want to see if she can paint 2 lines on the ceiling really slow. Not as if she's doing a sit-up per se, but I want to make sure that she's elongating from those points really well. The other thing we can do as well is make sure that there's actually pressure into my fingers here. It may limit how far you can go with that paintbrush, but that's what we need to do. We need to make sure that this is under control, because the mid-back, the core is really important, and it's related to shoulder impingement. So although we want to increase our shoulder range of motion, we need to make sure that this is actually under control as we do so. Okay. Next is we're going to go to a stretch of the upper back just in a different way. Go ahead and go face down, and elbows and knees. All right. Up on all fours.
Oh, sorry.
Low kneeling thoracic stretch.
Yep.
Right there, perfect. Go ahead and sit your hips back for me. Nice, and return. And walk your elbows out forward a little bit more. And sit back. And return. Where do you feel this working so far, Sarah?
I feel it in my upper back.
Come up into here?
Yep.
Sometimes people feel it in their lats too. That's perfectly normal. And go ahead and walk your elbows together a little bit. So you're kind of hiding your eyes from the sun, and sit back a little bit more. Good. Notice she's not sitting back too far, and that's perfectly fine. What we want is mainly the movement to happen out of here. We don't really need it to happen out of the hips for this. We use this exercise for other things too, but in this case, we want to make sure that the movement's coming out of here and not out of the back or the hips. The next is we're going to challenge this movement we've gotten a little bit by doing something called a low bear. So going off, there you go. You know the low bear position. What am I showing you for? Good. Show me low bear. Perfect. Right there. And just hold that position. So she took her knees up off the ground. Some of you won't be able to do that. That's okay. Go ahead and come back down and back up again. Some of you won't be able to hold the position for very long, but you can get up. That's okay. It's the intention of pushing the floor away with your elbows, which is important. Go ahead and return again. Now one thing we're going to do though before she continues is I see a little bit of a round here. Imagine we have duct tape on your back. Can you wrinkle the duct tape? Good. Keep it wrinkled. Go ahead and lift your knees up off the table. And return for me. And go again. How's that feel?
Harder.
Harder? A little spicy?
A little spicy.
Spicy. Picante?
Like salsa.
Okay, one more time. And then we're going to do something called a bow pull. Go and lie on your side, knees tucked. And come back to me a little bit. Okay? So show them all the bow pull. Good. And pull that bow. You know why it's called a bow pull?
Because it looks like I'm pulling a bow?
Because it looks like you're pulling a bow. And imagine that bow has about 80 pounds of tension on it.
Okay.
Can you pull it as if it's really tight? Yeah. Good. So she's supplying tension now. She's working to actually supply a little bit of effort through this pull. Good. Pause it there. And we're going to keep that elbow high right there. Look down the sight like if you're going to shoot something, and then slowly push it back because you're not really ready to shoot it yet. But you want to be really, really quiet because you're in the forest, okay? You know how you can tell if someone's really done well in their training with acting as if they're an archer?
If they're quiet?
No, it's as if the string hits their face.
Oh.
Okay, so basically it should be right up at your face here. Okay, go ahead and return again. And now we're going to try the other side.
Okay.
Okay. Now, supplying tension through an exercise is really, really helpful to make it so the efforts or the intention of the exercise sticks. If you're only doing it really lazy and passive-like, a lot of times it's not super helpful and you'll have to do it for a very long time. But if you supply tension through the exercise, a lot of times it'll stick a lot better. Now go ahead and pull past your chest one more time. Try to open up your spine like a book. Good. And go ahead and return. Since she's in this position, we're going to do the shoulder hinge. Go ahead and reach as far as you can with that top hand. Reach, 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 and return. And reach, 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 and return. Where do you feel this working?
I feel it in this bottom shoulder here.
Like kind of on the side of the bottom?
Yes.
Perfect. Go ahead and reach. So the shoulder is a hinge joint, and this exercise is called a shoulder hinge. And I want to make sure that she's actually feeling it on the back side of the shoulder on the other side. We're getting the posterior capsule to stretch, the back of the shoulder to start to strengthen. The farther you reach, the harder it gets. And we're going to spend about another 20 seconds doing this or so. And then we're going to flip to the other side. Now, if some of you have things like lower back pain or hip issues too, you may consider moving everything together. So we're kind of rolling the whole body.
And this fax number that I'm sending to, is it specific?
Or you can possibly hold the bed away with your wrist and your knee at the same time. Okay, let's go ahead and try the other side.
Do you have a fax number specific for Dr.
Now,
Freeman that I can just send?
so for this one, we're going to double down a little bit more on the tension on the floor, but she's going to do the same exercise. This is just how different exercises require different coaching to get a better effect or progress the exercise. Good. Don't let me pick up your hand.
I don't think so.
And go ahead and return back. And don't let me pick up your hand. And relax. Don't let me pick up your knee. Don't let me pick it up. Don't let me pick it. Crush my hand. Crush my hand. Come on. So it's hard for her to do. It's a hard thing to do. Good. Now we're going to roll the whole body. And come out again. Roll the whole body. And we're almost done with this. We got about 10 seconds. Then we're going to go to Y's, face down Y's. For many of you, it's going to work a lot better to do this on the bed because you're going to have to put your forehead and nose right on the bed. Okay, go ahead and go with that.
My shoulder feels great.
Good stuff. All right, this one's tough. Okay, first thing, hands in this position. Can you give me room for my hands here, both sides? There, let my fist go underneath it. Let my fist go underneath it. Right there, pause. Don't touch my hands. Go ahead and reach up that way. And come on back. Keep your elbows away from my hands at all times. Good. Go and go again. Reach, 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 reach. And back again. Good. You're feeling this probably right here?
Absolutely.
Good. Now, if you guys feel it elsewhere, like the neck or anything, you can go ahead and probably relax. I know she doesn't have her. There we go. And so she can actually get away with probably she's getting away with some cheater range here too a little bit because I can see she's kind of uprighted off the ground. If she was a little bit more dormant on the ground with her chest, then she'd probably be down around here or so, which is okay too. We have one more exercise called a hard plank. Good. And go ahead. Perfect. Come on down. Now we're going to push with your elbows hard into the floor as if there's a conveyor belt. We're trying to push our body away from the conveyor belt as far as you can. Keep pushing, keep pushing, keep pushing, keep pushing, keep pushing. Go ahead and slowly pull the conveyor belt back again. Okay, the only thing you're focusing on is pushing that conveyor belt away. And then if it was sticky and not working, you're trying to pull it back. Okay, it's a push and a pull and a push and a pull. Now, if you guys are interested a little bit more too, we have a gift that's going to pop up in the corner. Click on that. It's something that we've created for you to help you out along with your recovery. It's information you're going to want to know, and we put it there for reasons to take advantage of it. Good. All right, now we're going to go and relax. Just a moment to talk about this. She started to degrade a little bit. I can see her back started to cave a little bit. Generally, you want to keep this kind of neutral and not flex or extend too much, or at least not deviate once you start. And that's okay, because it's a hard exercise. But you can take breaks. She just didn't take breaks on this because she likes to work hard, right? You can go ahead and sit up for me. So where do you go from here? So these are corrective exercises, stretching, corrective exercises that help out to grease up the joints and make everything work well together. But every single person, if they want to fully recover, they need to get back into a pushing or pulling exercise, like grabbing a weight or something heavy and pulling it and pushing it. That's the fact of the matter, okay? Everybody needs to get back to that somehow, some way, because you're going to do it in your life anyways. Now, if you want to learn more about shoulder impingement, why it happens, the anatomy of it, the body mechanics, we're going to cover that right now, so stick around and we'll go through all that in detail. All right, guys, now that you did the shoulder impingement exercises, it's time to understand a little bit more about why those work. In order to do so, we need to cover a short anatomy and mechanics lesson of the body. At the end of this section, I'm going to show you a bonus exercise as well. It's an exercise that you guys can use, not necessarily when you're in pain, but when you are feeling much better. This is a great exercise to help decrease the chance of reoccurrence. It's something you can do every single day, so make sure you stay around for that part of the video here. Now, shoulder impingement is pretty simple. This is my shoulder. This is the back of the shoulder right back here. This is the front of the shoulder, the subscapularis, and then we have the clavicle. Sorry, this is going to be my right shoulder here, right? And so this is my humerus, or my arm going down. And so this area is the important part here. We call this the subacromial space. I'm going to come up to the camera here just so you can take a better look at it here. Now, the subacromial space is interesting because there's stuff that goes through it. As you can see, there's part of this supraspinatus muscle. There's also a bursa underneath there as well. The bursa is a natural fluid-filled sac. It's almost like a friction pulley system that helps out with natural movement of the shoulder. There's also the bicep tendon that comes underneath and runs underneath there as well. And so when people have impingement into here, it's mainly a spacing issue. There's not enough space for all the stuff, and the space tends to decrease as the shoulder goes up into this position here. I'm going to see if I can simulate it here on this model. As you look into this region right here, as you start to go like this, it starts to decrease its space. So how are you supposed to fit all that space, all that stuff in the space if the space is getting smaller when you raise your arm? That inherently is the problem. And that is why exercises for the shoulder, the core, and the mid-back are very important, is because that as you start to raise the shoulder here, it's starting to raise up, as you can see right here. The shoulder is starting to raise up. But if we take this and slide it down as you raise it up, then you have more space. So I'm going to do that one more time. So you take a look right into that region. As you start to raise up, nothing's helping it. And so I'm going to take this and slide it down as I raise it up, and now there's room. Oops, I just ripped it off. So this is the roll and slide mechanism of the shoulder, we say. And so this is the natural mechanics that you want in the shoulder, and you want to improve it when you're dealing with shoulder impingement. Now there's another part of this puzzle is why is this roll and slide really not working well? Like, would I just wake up and it's not really working well? Well, no, there's another part. And so this other part involves the spine. Truthfully, if you're doing a shoulder rehabilitation program and it doesn't include any spinal or thoracic spine component, you're missing a big part of the puzzle. Truth be told, a lot of times people they don't have the sporting injury, they bring their day-to-day life injury into the sport. And so if their shoulder is not in a good position because of what they've been doing in the remainder of their day. And so we have this right here, this rounded, abnormally rounded mid-back, and then we have the shoulder, which is sitting off the side here, okay? It follows the mid-back here, and so it's a tip. And so with this shoulder here, if you look at this space again, right here, if I'm attempting to raise my arm up this way, this space decreases as I start to move my tipping forward, okay? There's not enough range. And you guys can probably test it on your own too. Attempt to raise your arm up while staying nice and proud and tall. You'll probably get much higher. And then just round your upper back, keep it rounded, and then try to raise your arm over your head. It's almost literally impossible. It hurts too. A lot of times people will have pain when they're trying that, and they try this, and all of a sudden the shoulder impingement goes away. That is, in a nutshell, the problem. The impingement happens, but it happens because the shoulder's in a bad position, and the roll and slide mechanics aren't working. That happens normally because the mid-back has too much round, and that happens because of the day-to-day stuff that you do, like sitting, driving, looking down and playing with your phone or whatever it may be. So those are all important parts. So an important thing you can do is thoracic extension exercises as well as shoulder stability exercises throughout the day, and this is the exercise I want to show you. This is called a Bruegger's exercise, and this is with this is called a CLX band. The CLX band is something you can get on Amazon. This black one is probably most appropriate for this. There's different colors. You don't have to necessarily have a CLX band, but it's kind of nice because it has these little loops in it. That way you don't have to grab it all the time. Although grabbing it will help out with tension. And so all you're going to do is place your elbows at the side of your body, spread the band, and then push your hands away from your body. Okay. What I'm not doing is I'm not raising my arms up. Okay. And so you're spreading the band, pushing the band, returning the band, and returning the band. So it's almost robotic. It's here, 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 here. Now, I don't have any shoulder pain when I'm doing this. If you do, you won't be, this isn't the right thing for you because, again, this is not necessarily an exercise I would suggest as a pain management tool. This is a preventative type of tool. There's a lot of different preventative exercises. This is just a really easy one you can do at your desk. You can have a CLX band or some type of stretchy band hanging right over your chair so it reminds you. And it's something you can do a couple times a day. Oftentimes it really helps out with upper trap tightness, levator scapula tightness, headaches, neck pain. Even sometimes pinched nerves respond really well to a Bruegger's exercise because it helps facilitate more thoracic or mid-back extension, which is really, really important when dealing with shoulder impingement. Now, if you guys want more information about shoulder impingement, please click on the video in the corner, subscribe to the channel, turn on notifications, and we're going to do more exercise videos just like this on YouTube.